Lux, Anguis here. So it has been a while since I made the last time another video, but this time I felt very inspired to share this more so a motivational perspective that I like to share with you guys. It's more so about do not letting yourself go into this mass fodder of society, whatever it may look like. Of course, we still are humans. At the end of the day, we are social creatures. We live in a vast community of people with various backgrounds, understanding, and perspectives. But I'm also meant in the context of mass vices. If you know what I mean, mass vices that seem to be culturally appropriate to do, and it's okay to do these things because everybody does this. If you know what I mean, everybody uses the phone extensively. Everybody drinks this and that beverage. Everybody smokes this and that type of thing. Everybody does this and that type of action, you know. And what I mean by that is, if you do this and that type of actions, that's why I'm quite unspecific here, because you know for your own self. From where did this behavior came from? Was it just from curiosity, peer pressure? Was it something that grew in you, or was it something authentic to you? Like, just question yourself, and if this but peculiar thing has brought you any value of maturity, of insight, of wisdom, of knowledge. Does this peculiar thing that society seems so fond about help you on your path? If you know what I mean, you must also ask yourself, what is your path right now? Of course, paths can change. It's very dynamic in nature. But be careful. Do not become food. Do not become predated upon by a collective of ignorance, of misunderstanding, of dispersion of your own potential. You know what I mean? Just because there are so many people out there who have this and that amount of friends, and it seems like they have success with this and that, doesn't mean necessarily it's the same for you. At the end of the day, you must sit down and ask yourself and feel into yourself, does this feel actually authentic to me? Does I actually see a future of myself within me, or am I just doing that like automatic, like a robot? Like, of course, there's discipline. You do the things regardless if you feel it or not, especially for things that you acknowledge and became aware of, will bring you on the long run very, very deeply forward on a life you need to live. But there are certain aspects and things that you and me, anybody is right now struggling with. Any type of addictions, habits, behaviors that they seem it's normal, but it's taking them so much away. It can be everything. It can be bad relationships. It can be phone addiction. It can, of course, official people say the phone addiction doesn't exist, but I don't believe you shit. This shit exists. It's very deep connected to escapism. Anybody struggles with these things and they become fodder for it. They just become assimilated by it because they let themselves too much go. There's a healthy way of letting yourself go and an unhealthy way. The healthy way is like just resting, just getting the energy back that you need, just Just do something else for a while, just relaxing for a while. But there's a negative way of just completely dissolving yourself into, complete unproductive de-evolutionary degeneracy and laziness. It's like it's okay to being lazy, but it's not okay being lazy if you are lazy at these moments. If I have in back of the mind so many stuff to do, so many things to finish, that it's like obligation to do, like have the mindset of first finishing the work and afterwards just do whatever you want to, be lazy, whatever. But like what I mean. You just letting yourself go into this bad addiction, into this bad habit, into these bad relationships, into this whatever it may is, and you assimilate yourself into the masses of people who do not realize their own true inner potential or authenticity. They just become a part of quote unquote normalcy. But if you look upon normalcy, you know, does this type of consciousness and awareness in living really fulfill you? I know, can you live this type of life without any regrets, without any second thought that you could do actually more, realize more, whatever it may look like? Don't look for me or for anybody to be like your hero or idol and this and that. Of course, you can take persons, especially individuals and their mentalities, as archetypes of inspiration, of like motivation or such. But at the end of your life, of your day-to-day life, you need to find your authentic way that is in resonance with your core being, is in resonance with your core authentic success, you know, however it may look like for you, not for me, not from me, for you. And that's the thing. For that to discover, you need to stop assimilating yourself into the mass fodder, into the mass feeding of your own potential, into dispersion, into bad habits, into bad coping mechanisms. But for that, you need to put in the work. For that, you need to burn for yourself. For that, you need to be willing to heal your traumas, your negative emotions, anything that emotionally and subconsciously pushes you to behave in this type of manner. It's not an easy work. It's not again escapism. You cannot escape again by overproduction, by overdoing stuff. So you can escape your emotions and anything that works within you as a problem. It's not that way either. It's a fine line, of being productive, fulfilling your own inner created destiny, and walking through your stuff, so you become a more freer spirit, mind, soul, and body of flesh, you know. But it requires work, it requires sacrifice, and there are days where it's worth it to put in more hours, where it's worth it to say no to this and that, where it's worth it to bleed, to cry, to suffer for it for a while. And you will see, years after, you will look proudly back at your own self, at your own version, and to know how much you've grown from that. But without that, without this, like I said, it's one of the main motives that really inspires me in a very deep way. It's also like true creation requires sacrifice. And the most powerful sacrifice is within your own self. Nothing else, nobody else, but within your own self. Whatever it is. You know exactly what's the most precious and most difficult sacrifice to do with your own self. For example, for me, honestly, it was unnecessary laziness. What is yours? What is your blockage? Your personal sacrifice you need to make to get closer to your own inner spark of authenticity, fulfillment, and own personal success. Think about that. Other than that, Naga bless, and we surely seen heroes again.